Hello and welcome to our webinar. It's Ken here and Pete is in mission control, pushing all the buttons. But before introducing the presenters, I wanted to say that this represents a new collaboration between the Inclusion Club and the University of Worcester in England. And we hope that this will be the first of a whole series of webinars exploring different experiences in inclusive physical activity and sport. And we felt that it was appropriate to begin with a presentation by two students of University of Worcester. I'll let the two students, Chloe and Lauren, introduce themselves. But this is the inaugural, the first webinar in the series that we hope will continue for some time between the Inclusion Club and the University of Worcester. So over to you, Chloe and Lauren.
Hello, welcome. Next slide, please. So this webinar is going to be talking about the experiences of students supporting young people and adults who have severe and complex impairments in physical activity and sport. This is within Worcester Snoezelen and part of University of Worcester. So next slide, please.
Okay, so hopefully this webinar will give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to have a short introduction. What is Snoezelen? So the overall place that in Worcester, not just the sport section that both of us work in. Who is involved within the Snoezelen? So the service users that we have come through our doors each week, come through our sports sessions, a staff, participant and uni students' perspective of the centre and their involvement and experiences within it, and then benefits of being involved within volunteering as well. That's really important. Next slide, please, Pete.
So just to kick us off, we asked the current fourth year and current third year student about their knowledge and understanding of what a Snoezelen centre actually is. So here's their answers.
Before.
Name rings a bell, but I don't know exactly what it is.
If you were to put something on it, what would you say it was?
Some type of care home.
Brilliant, thank you.
And here's the third year students.
Hello Hannah, have you ever heard of Snoezelen before?
Nope.
What do you think the Snoezelen Centre is?
It sounds like somewhere that you can go for a nap.
Okay, thank you.
So listening into their perspectives, the Snoezelen on a whole hasn't really got much of an understanding of what it actually is. So by this webinar, we aim to expand the knowledge and understanding of what a Snoezelen Centre is, not only amongst Worcester, but further afield around the world. Next slide, please. So a little bit of an introduction to myself and Lauren. Next slide, please. So hi, I'm Chloe French. I'm from Boston, Lincolnshire in the East Midlands of England, but study at the University of Worcester. So I've travelled quite far to come and learn my degree in sports coaching science with disability sport. Travelled far because it's one of the first universities in England to have this sport-specific course for the disability sector. I've worked with a range of people with different impairments since the age of 16 in a variety of environments, not only just within sport. I've worked within Snoezelen since September 2014 in the sports centre, running sports sessions, and recently been offered a job on the weekends as a relief worker, helping people within the multisensory departments of the centre. I'm a keen football coach and player, and would like to pursue a career in working within disability sport after university and hopefully graduating. Next slide, please.
Okay, so I'm Lauren. I'm from Worcester in Hampshire in the south of England. I'm a third year student studying sports coaching science and sports development, so third and final year, unfortunately. I've been involved with disability sport for the last 5 years. I started at the Snoezelen Centre in December 2013 as a volunteer and was fortunate enough to be offered a part-time position within the sports sector in September 2014. I'm currently coaching under 11s and under 13 girls football teams, and I'm starting my new adventure by coaching in Canada in June 2015.
Next slide, please.
Okay, so what is Snoezelen? Worcester Snoezelen is a multi-sensory leisure therapy centre for people who have disabilities and additional needs. Snoezelen provides an accessible and inclusive activities for people of any ability level. The centre includes 4 multi-sensory rooms, a hydrotherapy pool, a soft play area, music and arts. So as you can see from this slide, there's a variety of opportunities to be involved with many different activities within the centre and outside. Also, there are many charity events that get run throughout the year to raise the profile of Worcester Snoezelen through the community, university and other branches. And also, as you can tell, there's an activity that's appropriate for everyone, and they can benefit from this centre massively. Snoezelen is actually Dutch for to sniff and to doze, and this was developed in the Netherlands in the 1970s. Next slide, please.
So this is just a couple of examples of service users, participants who attend the centre. So in the top right, we have dyspraxia, multiple sclerosis, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, dementia, muscular dystrophy, Asperger's and autism, and people with sensory impairments, such as hearing impairments, like struggles with speech and stuff. Next one. But ultimately, the centre is an inclusive centre that welcomes anyone with any impairments, any ability to all experience something that should be experienced, because it is a really good centre and it just welcomes everyone in to use the facilities within the centre. Next slide, please.
Okay, so we thought it was really important to get a mother's perspective on the Snoezelen Centre, as one of her children does attend the centre weekly. So a value that can only be estimated by the smiles on the faces of 350 people who walk through the door each week, and the thousands of positive stories that lie in the memories of those who have been touched in some way by the wonder that is Worcester Snoezelen Centre.
Couple of photos at the top. So top left hand corner, we have a couple of the participants who go to the Worcester Snoezelen Drama Club performing their Let It Snow for the Christmas concert. Smiles all round. They did a great job, not only learning, remembering, but also performing the dance moves in front of the crowd, the parents, the carers, and it just was a great environment to be involved in.
The middle picture is a paint-inspired drum activity. So there was paint in the drums, so when the drumsticks hit the drum, the paint went absolutely everywhere. It was messy, but a very enjoyable occasion, as you can see by the staff faces. And then on the right, it was the drumathon, which was 10 hours long. So yes, I did have a headache by the end of it. It was open to everyone, so it was a really inclusive environment. Members of the community could come in and really experience what Snoezelen was about. And also there was a lot of siblings, family members were also present. There was a real community feel, and it was a really, really successful day. I was really privileged to be part of this, and I hope that they do another one soon. Next slide then, please.
So a slight interactive session. So all I'm going to say to start with is follow the blue dots. Excellent. So now we've done that, we're just going to do it a little bit quicker. Same procedure, follow the blue dots again. Excellent. So a couple of things just to think about. So what did you use to follow the dots? Was it your eyes, your hands, your head, your elbow? It could have been anything. So this is something that's individualized to the participants. So we need to make it accessible so they can do something that they're comfortable with. How did you feel about the speed? Did you feel like a bit under pressure on the second time, or did you feel more under pressure on the first time because you didn't know what to expect? So that's all about having that practice run. Although it could be a bit of a quicker speed, you're more aware of what's going on. And did you feel in control of the situation? So obviously myself and Lauren have chose the colour of the dots, the shape of the dots, the speed, the location. How did you feel about that, not having that control of the situation? So they're just a couple of things to take into consideration when performing your sessions and working with maybe someone who's got a little bit of an impairment or something like that. Next slide, please.
So in relation to our sessions, it's really, really important that we work to the individual's needs, as not every service user will work at the same pace. Some of them need a lot more explanation than others, so it's really important that we're able to offer them that in our sporting environment. Also, extra time, so extra time and explanation are really important. Imagine that with noise. So a lot of our sessions can get very loud, especially when we're playing target games. So the excitement and the competition aspect are brought out. So it's important for us to take control of that situation, to bring the noise back to a minimum, especially when there's explanations. Especially as some of them can get quite complicated if we decide to progress the session on. So it's really important that you're in control. And also just be patient with them, and it reaps the benefits. You can't put a time limit on development, so please do work to their pace. And it's actually really good for us as well. It's really good for our development. It tests us, it gives us good confidence, a good confidence builder, to realise that we're able to provide these sessions for people, and that we are progressing them really well.
Yeah,
okay.
So like Lauren said, it's all about developing them as one of the participants, but working as a development for ourselves is quite a big impact. So looking at different learning styles, maybe one to take into consideration when you're taking the session. So some participants may learn auditory, so talking to them. Some may learn visually, so it might require a quite in-depth demonstration. Maybe us walking along with them, so they get, like, especially with races and different bits and bobs, might mean that we follow and walk them through. So it's all about that learning style, their preferability, and how we can adapt and meet that requirement.
I think you can learn all about like a teaching style. You can learn all about it from literature and examples, but you're never going to really be able to put it into context unless you use it. So it is really important that even if it is breaking through that confidence barrier to explore a different style, then please do it. Because in experience, I used to coach in one way, but since being involved with Snoezelen, I've realised that not everybody is going to work the way that you do. So it's really important that you can provide them with something else.
Yeah, it's all about that mixing and working to their needs as well. So that's how we can relate this back to our sessions.
Next slide, please.
This is just a quick breakdown of a typical multi-sport session for myself and Lauren. So participants will arrive once we feel that everyone's there. We like to do a bit of a briefing. So this could be preparing participants for what their aim is by the end of the session, what we're going to do. Some participants like to know what we're doing, what time we're doing it. So yeah, it's just giving them a quick brief of the outline of the session. They like to do some warm-up activities to get the heart going. So this may include parachute games, and dice games that express a different movement. We then do teamwork, so we break into little teams and do like little relays, target games, that decision making on whether they should go long, short with the ball, or just learning a new skill. We then offer a break where we have a quick drink, and then go into more of a cognitive game, so something that participants need to think about. So for example, new age curling, whether they want to go for the centre spot, or whether they want to knock one of their oppositions out, or knock their teammate onto the mat. So it's just something a little bit more cognitive, working as a team. Then do a little bit of a cool down and a debrief to the session. This debrief enables us to tell the participants what they've done, sort of reiterate what they've learned, done well, offer praise where we feel praise is needed to the participants. The photo on the right is a member of staff from the Snoezelen Centre, so she'll work with the participants, probably some of them every day or quite a lot of the time during the week. We find having this member of staff quite helpful, so it offers myself and Lauren a little bit of support, and yeah, so it's really useful having that member of staff there. So yeah, next slide please.
So we thought we'd give you some examples to look at of games that we've played recently. We played this a couple of weeks ago, and surprisingly, the weather's actually really nice in England, so we took them outside and we played adapted cricket. So as you can see, we used skittles as the stumps and we used tennis rackets as the cricket bats. We did this in order, so the surface area, we were using a bigger sponge ball as well, so there was a bigger surface area for the service users to hit the ball, which would hopefully encourage them to hit the ball to further distances, and also it would decrease the opportunity, the chance of them getting run out, which was really important for us because we wanted to see everyone enjoying themselves. We can progress this session on by maybe using using a cricket bat. Some of our users are very developed in their sporting abilities, so this is something that we're thinking of incorporating in the next couple of weeks' time. And it was just a really good inclusive activity for all. They were in 2 teams, of course there was the competitive edge, and also everybody was involved at the same time, which was really important for us. Yeah, next slide please.
So this is an example of one of our target games. So we did javelin and frisbee. This was in the sports hall again. This allowed for participants to get points, whether they threw it long distance, short distance. So it enabled participants to really work to their needs and progress it when they felt comfortable. As you can see from the young chap on the right, we adapted the session so he could still get the same amount of points as the other participants, yet the ramp was being used because he required that throughout the sessions, and we moved the cones as targets. So this is a really inclusive session. We may have adapted it slightly, but that's all part of the learning process for not only them but ourselves. We also reiterated different learning techniques throughout the session. So a couple of techniques about how to throw a javelin, how to throw a frisbee, and at the end this enabled us to question the participants, and we felt that this was quite successful for the majority of the participants, learning that new skill and being able to be questioned, and it was quite rewarding for us at the end to then get that feedback from the participants, and this session really did seem to go down quite well. Next
you wouldn't
slide.
believe how competitive they all are. We have to put most of the sessions we do have to put point systems in, because if we don't, they then question why we haven't. So it's really nice. It's really nice to see that competitive edge to all of these participants, and it's really enjoyable for me and Chloe because we can sit back and see their development, but also the huge amount of points that they seem to be receiving each week, which is brilliant for us.
Next slide, please. So this is a beach themed bocce. So a couple of the sessions we like to put a theme to it, so maybe a story or just the colours, numbers, just some sort of theme that we can follow throughout the whole session. This was beach themed bocce, so as you can see by the red red square in the middle, that was resembling an ice cream van on the beach. So you got more points for hitting the ice cream van, and then the participants could tell us what ice cream they liked, which was engaging that social interaction and imagination, which was really quite rewarding. Throughout this session, we worked on both long distance shots, so trying to get it onto a pirate ship, or short distance shots, which were trying to get it onto the sand or the ice cream. This really did encourage not only the imagination and social interaction, but that decision making. So are they going to go for the long shot? Are they going to go for the short shot? But each section being able to engage and get points. So yeah, the beach themed bocce worked quite well. So yeah, good session there. Next slide, please.
So we've spoken about our experiences briefly, just so you can see what we do. Kat, who is on the left-hand side, Jane at the back, and Laura on the right. They're all involved within Snoezelen in different ways, so we thought we'd ask them to introduce themselves so you guys can get to know them as well.
Hello, introduce yourself and your role within Worcester Snoezelen Centre.
Hello, I'm Jane Roberts. I'm the Chief Officer of Worcester Snoezelen.
I'm Kat. I've worked at Worcester Snoezelen for about 5 years now. I attend all the sports sessions, and I'm also a swim coach.
Hi, I'm Laura. I go to Worcester Snoezelen sports sessions.
Next slide, please.
Excellent. So now you've just got a bit of a feel for their role. We decided to ask some questions with Kat and Jane. So the first one was, how do you feel student involvement within Snoezelen from a like impacts from a senior perspective?
How has students' involvement within Snoezelen Sports Club impacted on the participants' experiences?
We've had students for quite a while now, and it's great because they're there constantly, every session, and they've built up such a great rapport and relationship with our guys, and they look for that person, and they've got so much confidence, and they've got so many different skills they can bring as well. They've come into this really fresh from university. They've got so many different ideas. It just makes it so much more exciting having new faces.
Yeah, I think that consistency is really important because over the weeks, our participants, they build up a rapport, like Kat says, with the students, and they go on to then become role models and mentors, if you will, for some of the Snoezelen participants, because it's just a really, if you like, very normal environment to be in, and I think our participants very much enjoy looking to some young, cool students.
So a couple of the key points from that question, the consistency. This is key not only within the Snoezelen Centre, but any volunteering that you take part in. You need to ensure that you're there week in, week out, and stick to your promises. If you say that you're going to be there next week, make sure you are, because some people can take that quite personally if you don't stick to what you've said. So yeah, the next question that we asked was the participant development within the sports crew from a senior perspective.
How have the participants changed since student involvement in sports club?
There's been quite a lot of change, actually. They definitely in kind of confidence and enthusiasm, and I can think a couple of people who started off the term quite shy or quite not willing to kind of join in as much, and now they've got the confidence and they know the girls. They're so much more confident in themselves. Also, I think it's such a wide range of abilities that come to our session. It's good to be able to engage everybody. Even though you're just doing one activity, there are different levels that people can kind of get to, and involving everyone and keeping everyone occupied and engaged is amazing.
So another thing I want to drag out of them answers are that role model behaviour. Personally, I feel to be a role model is a privilege and something that shouldn't be taken for granted and should just be excelled on. So you are being a role model for them participants. So don't go in swearing or doing inappropriate behaviour, because that's not role model behaviour. So I think that's something that's quite key as mine and Lauren's role within taking part in Snoezelen Sports Club. Next slide, please.
Okay, so we asked Laura 3 separate questions about her involvement and her experiences within Snoezelen Sports Crew. So Pete, could you click each 3 for me?
Hi Laura, what do you most enjoy about sports club?
Seeing friends and doing new sports.
What new sports have you done in sports club?
Curling, boccia, frisbee, javelin.
How has sports club helped you outside of Snoezelen?
Well, I've decided to do my level 1 in football coaching, or to help other people do football.
So as you can see, Laura has given us very honest answers, and looking at it, she says that the social side of Snoezelen is really important to her. So this is a place where she's comfortable, where she can come meet her friends, and they can all enjoy sport together. So that's really important for me and Chloe, to make the environment feel that way, so they can bring their friends and they can all enjoy it whilst developing their sport skills as well. The incorporation of new sports is also really important, so Laura can develop her ability across a wide range of sports rather than just 1 or 2. And also, I think it's really, really important, we're talking about inclusive sport. Laura's now decided to book onto her level 1 in football coaching. So this is a mainstream qualification, so there's going to be a variety of participants involved with this. And the fact that Laura said it's because she wants to help other people develop is brilliant, because that's what Snoezelen to us is all about, watching them develop and helping them grow. So I think I'm really proud of her that she's taken on this whole new role basically, and I'm absolute pleasure to coach as well. Next slide.
Following on from what Lauren said, Laura also helps coach and run a Monday night football club, which is run within Worcester. As going on with the inclusive part of the webinar, a couple of the uni girls football team went over to this Monday night football club and took part in a training session and a match with the Monday night football club. This is just another example of how Snoezelen and Worcester University also develop within that inclusion sport side of just sport in general. So that's really good from Laura. So next slide, please. So just expanding on a couple of personal experiences from myself and Lauren. Top right hand corner photo where we've got all the tinsel and stuff. This is just another example of how we like to set a theme to our session. So as like the beach theme bocce, this was the Christmas theme. So instead of having cones, we had tinsel. We gave baubles to the participants with their names on, and it was just a really enjoyable session. Lauren was running around the hall, acting like the Grinch, trying to stop people taking equipment back to their bases, which went down really well with the participants. So the middle photo offers just a little image to you, like what kind of teaching environment myself and Lauren work in. We feel quite fortunate to have this room, as it is inclusive and everyone can get into it, whether you're in a wheelchair users or everyone can access this room. We also feel it's quite appropriate because there's no echo when we're talking. It's quite a small personal room where we can do sports, and it doesn't seem threatening to any participants or anyone that attends the room. So we do feel quite privileged to have this room to do our sports in.
I think, as you can see from the pictures, we are smiling in every single one. So we are thoroughly enjoying what we are doing within Snoezelen. Since I started personally for me in 2013, I've seen significant changes in my coaching, but also myself. Worcester Snoezelen has shown me with the right attitude and mindset, it's possible to partake in any activity, and anything seen as a potential barrier can actually be broken. I have been tested, challenged, and honestly struggled in some situations, but I think this is what helped shape me as a coach. These situations do tremendously enhance your knowledge and your character and willingness to learn, as well as developing sessions. I do feel really privileged to be involved within these sports sessions, and I feel that Snoezelen has helped me become the coach that I am. The many participants I have coached has taught me it's not actually about your ability, but your willingness to learn and determination to complete a task. All of our users have infectious personalities and will give us 100% to what session has in store for them. So if they don't enjoy, if their number one sport we are not doing that week, it doesn't really faze them. They just carry on and give everything to it. I think sport is more about bringing people together regardless of their impairments, and sport can truly be enjoyed by all if they're given the commitment and time. We are both fortunate enough to have a centre like this on our doorstep, and grateful that we are able to be part of this new exciting opportunity that inclusive sport has to offer. Anything else, Chloe?
Yeah. Just leading on from that, we both have reiterated that it's nice to see the participants grow, but it's also very fortunate for us because not only the participants growing within sport and themselves, it's also enabling me, myself and Lauren to grow. So that's something that we're both really fortunate to be involved in and experience, and something that is developing us as a person and we can take on throughout different activities within later life. So yeah, it's a good experiences all round, I feel. Yeah, next slide. So a couple of reasons why volunteer. So it can help develop key skills to help you grow as a coach, not only as a coach, but within any environment, I feel. You experience a variety of environments. So we coach in the sporting environment, but I'm also involved within the actual centre, which is completely different environment to the sports club on a Saturday. So yeah, it's quite good to get that different environment and feel. You can also test yourself and push through personal coaching barriers. So we've already talked about the different coaching styles and approaches. You can find it in literature, but like Lauren said earlier, unless you can actually meet that coaching barrier and go through it and have a positive experience from it. So yeah, it really does help test yourself and push yourself through new and different barriers.
Okay, but you also get the chance to meet and work with a variety of people. So before this, I hadn't actually met Chloe. We both go to the same university, but we never come across each other. So even though we are in Worcester is quite a small university, we hadn't actually come across each other. So very fortunate that we were able to kind of build this partnership and work within Snoezelen together. Also, it opens up your eyes to opportunities that you didn't realise that were actually there. So many people still don't know about the Worcester Snoezelen Centre, but if they did get involved, then they'd actually be able to see what an incredible place this was and how fortunate it is to be involved. Also, just the kind of the normal stuff, more appealing to employers if you do have real life experience, so you can talk about these experiences rather than just having it on a piece of paper, and yeah, it will enhance your CV. Next slide, please.
So thank you for.
So can I just say thanks very much to Chloe and Lauren. I think we just got a couple of questions we wanted to throw into the mix. First one is to do with, you mentioned inclusion. That's been a thread all the way through the presentation. But what, in terms of the kind of people who attend the Snoezelen Sports Club that you've been servicing on Saturdays, what are the range of people who might attend that?
Okay, so we have had siblings of these service users come before, and they've participated in activities, which is brilliant because they're a breath of fresh air, really, aren't they? They're new people to see, and we can help them develop their ability as well. And also, one last point from myself, I understand we've spoken a lot about inclusive sport with impairments, but Worcester Snoezelen Sports Crew is the stepping stone for those participants that do want to work in different environments. I think Laura is a prime example of this. Now she's taking on her mainstream football qualification. And it's an absolute pleasure to see someone who wants to go into the same profession as us, and with the main aim to help develop regardless of your impairment, which I think is really important, and that is what Worcester Snoezelen is about, developing people regardless of their impairments, and just making sure the environment is inclusive for all. And Laura taking that break into a mainstream environment to coach is fantastic, and something that we are both very proud of her for.
It's a privilege to think that we've maybe helped her along the way to gain that confidence, and it's acting like that role model again. If we wouldn't have come in as a role model, would Laura have got that experience? So yeah, it's quite a privilege on our behalf, knowing that we've helped someone with their confidence to go out and do something like that. So yeah.
Okay, so thanks. If I can just say once again, thanks very much to Chloe and Lauren for stepping up and presenting this first ever Worcester series webinar in conjunction with the Inclusion Club. If I can say that if anyone has any points they want to raise or questions that you want to ask, then there'll be the opportunity on the website where the webinar is posted to ask those questions or to make any comments that you feel you want to make. So please interact with us with regard to this presentation, and we hope that this is the first of many such webinars that we do in conjunction with University of Worcester. So thanks for participating, and look forward to the next one. Thanks.
Thank you for listening.